From environmental disasters and political circus acts, to infrastructure on life support and scandals unfolding in real time, one southern state is serving chaos on every front. And at this point, the question practically asks itself, is Texas screwed? Hey guys, welcome to the Notorious.tv, your home for all things scandalous, eccentric, and over the top. On today's episode of the Chaos Report, we're breaking down some of the Lone Star State's most concerning headlines. First, we'll visit the New World Screwworm Outbreak and the political blame game currently taking place. Next up, we'll discuss whether Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's long list of scandals will impact his Senate race. Then, I'll give a hot take on the hundreds of data centers popping up across Texas, followed by a critical look at the current state of the electrical grid. From there, we'll hop on over to Corpus Christi, the first U.S. city that's about to run out of water. And then, we'll conclude with the shocking uptick in inappropriate teacher-student relationships. As a side note, if you haven't seen my latest video about the ongoing Texas hemp saga, you will want to check that out as well, and it's linked in the description. So, let's talk about it. So today we might as well kick things off with the headline that sounds like a horror movie. The New World Screwworm, a flesh-eating fly larva that's back in Texas for the first time in decades. This parasite burrows into open wounds on warm-blooded animals, eats living tissue, and can kill livestock if untreated. There are several confirmed cases in Texas, and instead of everyone calmly working together, politicians are playing a good old-fashioned game of whose fault is it anyway? Republicans blame Biden-era border policies, while Democrats blame Trump-era DOGE cuts. And the screwworms blame, well, nobody, because they're too busy eating. Meanwhile, the only proven solution, releasing sterile flies, is bottlenecked because the Panama facility is maxed out. Texas built a $750 million sterile fly factory, but it won't be fully operational until next year. You made it this far, so you are officially part of the Chaos Committee. You might as well like this video and hit subscribe right now. And speaking of things that keep coming back no matter how many times you think they're gone, let's talk about Ken Paxton, the Texas Attorney General and the newly crowned GOP nominee for U.S. Senate. Paxton beat long-standing Senator John Cornyn, and Democrats didn't even pretend to hide their excitement. They basically said, oh no, not Ken Paxton, anything but the guy with the extensive scandal resume. And that resume, well, it's long enough to need a table of contents. According to reporting from multiple outlets, including a list originally compiled by the National Republican Senatorial Committee, yes, Republicans, Paxton has been tied to a securities fraud indictment that he resolved after paying restitution, 20 impeachment articles alleging bribery, abuse of power, and obstruction, secret emails and burner phones, a fake Uber account under the alias Dave P., a donor who allegedly helped hide his extramarital affair, a mistress who became part of the public record, a divorce petition from his wife, Texas Senator Angela Paxton, citing adultery, and undisclosed out-of-state properties, including a $1.6 million hideaway. I go more in depth about these scandals in my previous video that I will link above right now. Even some Republicans have publicly criticized Ken Paxton, with one senator saying that calling Paxton ethically challenged is like calling Jeffrey Dahmer a picky eater. So yes, Texas politics is giving Real Housewives reunion episode energy, and now Paxton is headed for a Senate race that will be watched nationwide, because nothing says stable governance like a man whose scandals have their own Wikipedia subsection. Now back to parasites eating Texas alive, and by that I mean data centers. Texas is becoming the epicenter of data center development, with 335 existing centers and 248 more planned. And these things are hungry. They devour electricity, they gulp down water, they generate noise, and they require massive amounts of new transmission infrastructure. In a rare break from the state's business-friendly at all costs identity, Governor Greg Abbott made a surprising move by calling for sweeping regulations on data centers. His proposals include requiring data centers to build their own power generation, paying for their own grid interconnection, using closed-loop water systems, annual reporting on electricity and water use, and repealing sales tax exemptions that will cost Texas $3.2 billion in the next 2 years. Even Republicans at the state GOP convention said that Abbott's plan is a good start, but still not enough, ERCOT says that 89% of all new grid connection requests are from data centers. That's 439 gigawatts of requested capacity, which is 5 times the highest demand that Texas has ever hit. Not all of these will be built, but the trend is clear. Texas appears to be adding industrial power demand faster than the grid can expand. And that brings us to the next crisis. You guessed it, the Texas electrical grid. It's kind of like your ex. It might be better now, but you still don't trust it. Since the 2021 Winter Storm Uri disaster, ERCOT has made real improvements, including mandatory weatherization, strict inspections, massive growth in grid-scale battery storage, new standby payments to keep natural gas plants ready, and better reserve management. While the grid is more reliable today than it was 5 years ago, demand is exploding, and not just from population growth, but from, like we just said, AI data centers, also crypto mining, electric vehicle charging, and industrial expansion. Every year, Texas breaks its own peak demand record, and yes, the grid is better than 5 years ago, but it's also being asked to do CrossFit while wearing ankle weights. So there's that. And another precious Texas resource is in the headlines because Corpus Christi is on track to become the first U.S. city to run out of water. Not low on water, not tight on water, out of water. And it could happen as early as 2027. Corpus has faced a real recipe for disaster during the past 5 years. We're talking record heat, almost no rain, explosive industrial growth, and political gridlock. The city rejected a desalination plant last year, and now they're like, hey bestie, so about that desal plant. Businesses are panicking, residents are furious, rightfully so, and the clock is ticking. The city council is divided like a Thanksgiving table after someone brings up politics. And the only short-term solution is conservation, which is like telling a house fire to just calm down. The city has already tapped every short-term water source that it can. The only real solutions, desalination or a new reservoir, are years away. A water engineer put it bluntly, the only thing you could do is stop using water. And speaking of thirsty, Texas teachers are perving on their students like never before. The Texas Education Agency dropped new data showing that inappropriate relationship investigations have more than doubled this year. We're talking 441 sexual misconduct investigations, which is up from 303, 1,465 inappropriate relationship investigations, up from 579. Yes, you heard me right. 1,465 inappropriate relationship investigations. Parents are looking at these numbers like, do I send my kid to school with a backpack or a GoPro? Meanwhile, TEA is over here launching new oversight systems like Oprah giving out cars. You get a registry, you get a database, everybody gets a background check. They rolled out a new Inspector General for Educator Misconduct, a beefed up do not hire registry, a statewide pre-screening system called CMARC, stronger mandatory reporting laws, and a new law that lets parents sue school districts for gross negligence. TEA says misconduct often starts subtly with behaviors like excessive one-on-one time, private messages, special treatment, gifts, emotional dependence, and secretive behavior. So basically, if a teacher starts acting like a middle schooler with a crush, that's your sign. And parents are reading these reports like, should I homeschool? Should I move? Should I sage the school building? Should I call a priest? And honestly, valid questions. So what does this mean for Texas exactly? Well, it means that the state is dealing with a massive oversight failure, a cultural problem, and a reporting system that's finally catching up to years of let's just pretend we didn't see that. So yeah, Texas is facing parasites, scandals, data center vampires, a power grid on pre-workout, a dehydrated coastal city, and teachers acting like they need to be on a registry, not a payroll. But hey, at least the tacos still slap. So tell me in the comments if you think that Texas is screwed, and be sure to like and share this video. It helps more people see the scandals that should never stay buried. This is the Chaos Report. Thanks for surviving this episode with me.